Hey guys, sorry it's been a while since I've done one of these teachings. Life's kind of been a little chaotic, but of course, everything is always great with God. And just keep that in mind because as long as you turn to Him, everything will make sense. Life will still have its ups and downs because of the adversary, but we always make it through and we always will. One topic that I did want to talk about because I see a lot of it going on in today is how we really need to stop caring about the earthly world and start caring more about God. And I think that one of the hardest things for us to do is to stop worrying about what other people think of us. We worry whether people will like us, what they say about us, how we look, what we have, and whether we fit in. But I think the bigger question should be, who am I trying to please? People or God? If you look in Galatians chapter 1 verse 10, King James version, of course, it says, "For do I now persuade men or God? Or do I seek to please men? For if I yet please men, I should not be the servant of Christ." And that doesn't mean that we shouldn't care about people. That's not what that verse means at all. We should love people and treat people with kindness. That's just how it should be. But people's opinions shouldn't become more important to us than God's will. And we need to stop comparing ourselves because the world is constantly telling us that we need more. We need a better car, a bigger house, more money, better clothes, better body, better relationship. And honestly, the only better relationship that you need in your life is with God. And social media makes it so much worse because we're constantly seeing everybody else's highlights and how their life is going. But even in 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 12, it tells us that comparing ourselves to others isn't wise because it's not. I mean, if you think about it, you don't know what someone had to go through to get where they are, and you don't even know what they're dealing with behind the scenes. So instead of saying or asking, why don't I have what they have? Ask, God, what are you doing with my life? Or in my life? Because that's what's important. Your journey doesn't have to look like everyone else's. And it's not. It's going to be so much different than others. You know, one thing I don't have a problem with is just being different. I've always been that way. So, with that being said, I mean, don't be afraid to stand apart from others. We were all made in our own image, our own way. If you think about it, if we all had the same thing and all looked the same, it'd be a pretty boring world. And God handpicked each of us to look the way that we do, to talk the way that we do, just everything about you. God made you in His own perfect image. So why are you so stressed about comparing yourself to someone else? And you know, sometimes following God doesn't mean you're going to fit in. And that's crazy whenever you sit back and think of it, but it really is true. Maybe your friends want you to go somewhere that you know that you shouldn't go. And even outside of God, I mean, if it's somewhere that you know you shouldn't go, then common sense tells you, like, oh, you know, I don't think this is the best idea. But, you know, also maybe people pressure you to participate in something that you don't feel right in doing. And you might hear, oh, you're acting different. And that's okay. I mean, in Romans chapter 12, verse 2, it says, "And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." So we're not called to become exactly like the world. We're called to be transformed. And sometimes you have to be willing to say, I know everybody else is doing it, but I'm not going to do it because I want to honor God. And remember that this world that we live in, this is temporary. This is not forever. First John chapter 2 verse 12 says, "And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of God abideth forever." So, in layman's term, everything we chase in this world is different. It's temporary. Money's temporary, popularity, people's approval. But the greatest thing is that God is eternal. Why wouldn't you want that? So why would we compare or compromise our relationship with God just to impress people who may not even be a part of our lives a year from now? Put God first. I mean, Matthew chapter 6, verse 33 says, "But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness." First. Before others' opinions, before popularity, relationships, before everything else, God should come first. And even in Proverbs chapter 29:25, it says, "The fear of men bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe." I'll read that again. "The fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe." So when we're constantly worried about what people think, we become trapped by their opinions. But when we trust God, we can say, you know, I don't have to be accepted by everybody. I just need to make sure that I'm right with God. So with that being said, the next time you find yourself worrying about what people think of you, stop and ask yourself, does this matter to God? Because I'm going to tell you this, the answer is going to be no. So don't let it control you. If people don't like your decision to follow God, that's okay. It's okay. And if people don't understand your boundaries, that also is okay. And if people think you've changed, maybe that's exactly what God is doing. Like I said, our goal isn't to be popular. Our goal is to be faithful. And at the end of the day, people don't have a final say in your life. God does. And if God is pleased with you, you don't need the whole world to be pleased with you. Only God. So just keep that in mind.